precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold.
If you would like to see things through the eyes of John, then go back with me 2,000 years in time. Now, picture the beloved Apostle John, banished to the Isle of Patmos as he reflects on the events of his life from the time that he first met Jesus. Let's listen as he speaks.
I remember it so well. It seemed like just yesterday. Here we were, me and James, sitting in our boat, mending our nets. And this fellow called Jesus came by and told us to follow him. Strange as it may seem, we just dropped our nets then and there and walked on down the road with him. There was just something about him that seemed to draw us. Couldn't quite figure out why he'd want a couple of fellows like us. We were pretty rough characters back then. He even called us sons of thunder. I guess that kind of speaks for itself. Well, the next 3 years were ones that would defy description and totally change our lives. As we watched the Master preach and teach, heal and forgive, it was just amazing. We couldn't quite figure out why everybody didn't love him. We got angry with some of them and we wanted to call down fire from heaven and destroy them. But Jesus just gently rebuked us and said he didn't come to destroy lives, but to save them. Imagine that. They wanted to kill him and he wanted to save them. That's just the way he was. Healing the sick, raising the dead, casting out demons, feeding the multitudes, and making no charge for his services. And even when he knew that Judas would betray him, he didn't rebuke him, but gave him some bread and let him sop out of his own plate. And he even called him friend. I'd never seen so much love and compassion in all my life. And he wept over the city of Jerusalem. Is it any wonder that our lives were totally changed just by being around him? And then they crucified him. Blood, sweat, dirt, tears streaming down his face. Pain wrecked his body, and yet he still thought of others. He spoke to me from the cross and asked me to take care of his mother, who was standing next to him. And he was concerned about the thief hanging next to him and even promised him a place in his kingdom. And reaching out to those that were railing against him, simply cried, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." And then they buried him in a grave provided by a friend. But the grave couldn't hold him. And when he arose, he promised us that we would receive his spirit and become like him. Can you imagine the joy that filled our hearts when we heard those words? And it happened, just as he said it would. On the day of Pentecost, the Holy Spirit came down and filled us to the overflowing. And we've never been the same since that day. Years have come and gone, and we've suffered many things. Some were beheaded, some crucified. Others burned at the stake. Others were fed to the lions. And they've put me here on the Isle of Patmos. But as I look back and consider the bodies that were healed, the lives that were changed, the burdens that were lifted, and that warm feeling that swept over me when I laid my head on Jesus' breast at the Last Supper. Well, those are things you just don't forget. I guess I'll go and get some rest. Tomorrow is the Lord's Day. And you know, I have the strangest feeling that something unusual is going to happen here on the Isle of Patmos.
Precious sacred scenes unfold.
If you want to know what happened the next day, read the book of Revelation.